to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope it won't be your last. And if it's not your first time, you already know I'm glad to see you back, sis. Today, I wanted to come and talk to you guys about the types of friends you should avoid. I already gave you guys the types of friends that you should have. If you missed that video, I will link it down below and I'll put it in the cards somewhere around now so you can go and look at that. It's just great to have in your back pocket so that way you kind of know the people that you should have in your circle. I mean, like, who doesn't want to have solid people in your circle? So just like that video was opinion based and just based off of my own life experiences, today's video is going to be the same thing. It's opinion based. This is, things that I've learned in my own life. You live and you learn, and these are the types of people that I know I try to avoid. It's not exhaustive. It's just, hey, these are the ones that came to mind that really grind my gears. So go ahead, get you a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. Okay, so the first friend that I think that you should avoid is the fair weather friend. All right, the fair weather friend, they're hot today, they're cold tomorrow, they're cool with the relationship at one point, and then the next day it's just kind of like, I don't know where you stand, I know in high school this happened a lot where you might see somebody in school and they don't care for you, right? Or they act funny when they get around certain people. But then when you guys see each other outside, like, mind you, I went to private school, so I might see them at church on the weekend or whatever, and they're like a totally different person. Now all of a sudden we're best friends, it's totally cool, it's no problems. So stay away from the fair weather friend. If you don't know where that person stands with you, you're just gonna be driving yourself crazy. And a lot of times we hold on to that person because of time and history, but sometimes it's better to just go ahead and let that go. Ain't nobody got time for the fair weather friend, period, all right? And like I said, they'll probably act one way around you and then another way around somebody else. So it's just best to keep flaky people at an arm's length or just away, like, period, as far as you can. It's better to go that way. The second friend that you want to avoid is the copycat friend. This is a friend that literally does everything that you do, okay? You can start wearing your hair a certain way, they start wearing their hair a certain way. Maybe like you're into wigs, they never were into wigs, and now that you're wearing wigs, they wear like the exact same style as you, Maybe they used to dress more like conservative, and you maybe dress a little bit more modern and chic, runway-esque, and now all of a sudden they're dressing exactly like you. Maybe they never were into makeup, and now all of a sudden they do their makeup every day because you do your makeup every day. Like, I've had people like that in my life. I've had a lot of people try to jack my style one way or another, and it is very annoying. Like, I know one time in particular, there was somebody who honestly just like jacked everything that I did. I remember a couple years ago, I went and I got my real estate license in Virginia. This person was not interested in doing real estate at all. Because they saw me going and doing my real estate class, now all of a sudden they want to do the real estate class. Then there was a point in time where I was like, I'm gonna make wigs and sell it, because back up in the DMV, back home, my friends would ask me to do their hair, whether it's making them a wig, sew-ins, perming their hair, whatever the case may be. They might ask me to do it. And so all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, possibly make this a business. All of a sudden this person is like, yeah, I'm gonna do hair too. There was another point in time, same person, where I was like, I want to sell clothes, because again, I started selling on Poshmark. It was kind of picking up. So I was like, maybe I can make this an actual thing, actual business. All of a sudden they want to sell clothes. But it's really annoying when you have that copycat friend, because you feel like you have no individuality. And it's like, I know people say that, what's the phrase? It's like something is flattery, like copying is flattery. I forgot the exact phrase, but I get it. It's flattering for someone to mimic you, to copy you, but after a while it just gets annoying. Like, do you not have your own identity? Like, do you have to grab from everybody around you, especially if we're tight? Like, you're someone who is either in my family or a really close family friend, or you're my personal best friend or whatever. Like, it's just really annoying. And I know my mom's been through that too, when she might share certain information with somebody and all of a sudden they want to do the same thing. But that's going to be another upcoming video about why you need to move in silence. So I'm not going to give that all away, but needless to say, you will be able to tell when someone is a copycat friend. You will be able to tell when they're jocking your style, when they're following literally everything that you do, when there's no individuality there. And it's not abnormal for you to feel some type of way about it, because at the end of the day, you know, how we dress, what we do, it's pretty much our form of self-expression. So it's like, if you're copying everything I do, it feels almost like you're stealing a part of who I am, you know, if that makes sense. So stay away from the copycat friend, especially, like I said, if you're the type of person who really does thrive in your individuality, where people can tell, like, okay, this is so-and-so style, or like, this is just who they are. Like, you really are like your own brand in a way. And then to have a copycat friend, it's really annoying. And honestly, I've dealt with this too, even in the content creation world, where I will start doing things on Instagram and I would know, or like within my brand and business and stuff, and I would notice people do the exact same thing. Like, they don't even try to change it up. They don't try to use a different format. They don't try to add their own spin to it. There's a difference between being inspired and just flat out copying. And so, like I'm saying, just avoid the copycat friend, because it's going to annoy you at some point, and then it's going to cause friction, because then when you bring it up, then they'll be like, oh, well, you know, you're hating this, that, like, you want all the shine. And spare yourself the headache and just stay away from this friend. So let's move on. Number 3 types of friends you should avoid: the frenemy. I never understood frenemies, because it's like, you hate me so much, but you still can't leave me alone. Like, this person literally will not stop being your friend, but they really don't care for you. You know, it's almost like, I need to have access to you so that I can see what you're up to, so that I can continue to hate you, because hating you gives me life in a way. And I still want to appear to be your friend, because maybe they're getting something from you, you know, because at the end of the day, whatever, like, whatever blessings you get in your life, whatever overflow you get in your life, whatever good things happen in your life spill over to the people connected to you. So I feel like a lot of times the frenemy is just like a low-key clout chaser, moocher, you know, someone that wants to hang on to your coattails, because they know being attached to you comes with a level of favor. I almost said flavor. A level of favor and blessings that they don't want to miss out on, you know, whatever that is, whether it's your time, maybe you're a very attentive person and you're just the type that like really pays attention to your friends. Maybe it's actual resources. You know, for me, for many years, that was my case, because I was the one with the most resources, where it was like, okay, once we're attached to her, we know we're going to get something. It could be your talents, because they know like you're very skilled in certain areas. They don't want to like cut you off, or whatever the case may be. You know, it's like so many reasons why someone could want to remain attached to you. But the frenemy literally hates you. They cannot stand you, but they want to be around you, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And you'll be able to pick up on the shade, because they'll say like little shady stuff, or you'll just, honestly, I feel like the frenemy, they start off really sweet, and then the hate grows over time, because like I said, they see the evolution. Maybe you guys were together from like as friends from high school, and then they see your growth, they see your maturity, and so now they don't care for you, but maybe they just don't want to be the one to cut the plug, because they don't want to look like the bad guy either. That's another reason why a lot of people hold on, because they don't want to look like the bad guy. So it's like, let me just stick around. I really can't stand the fact that she's getting all this growth. I really can't stand the fact that all these good things are happening to her, or that she gets all the shine, or she gets all of this or that. But I'm not going to be the bad guy, and at the end of the day, I do benefit out of this. So watch your back with the frenemy, because you just don't quite know what they'll do. And the scary thing about that is that usually people that are your friends have a lot of insight into the inner workings of your life. You know, for me, I learned the hard way. So even when you're a friend of me, there's just certain things you're not going to know. There's one friend I have that knows literally everything, and I know just as much about her. So we are both indebted to each other in that way, where it's like we're too knee deep at this point, you know. So even if you wanted to like slight me and come out of left field, trust me, we can pull out the big guns and two can play that game. We're equally invested. So nevertheless, you know, it's scary with a frenemy because, again, like I said, they know the inner workings of your life and you're letting them in, but they don't like you. So there's no telling what they're going to do with that information, what they're going to do with that level of intel. At least with an enemy, it's like, I don't like you, you don't like me, and we can keep it moving, you know? And with a genuine friend, you know that it's true love there. But a frenemy, you can't play both sides. Like, you gotta pick which one. I'd rather you be hot or cold. Even the Bible says that. Even God don't like you to be lukewarm. I'd rather you be hot or cold than lukewarm, because I spit you out. You know, don't be on the fence. Like, that's just not a good look. So number 4, the types of friends that you should avoid. The judgmental friend. The judgmental friend scrutinizes everything that you do. Like, no matter what happens in life, they just are gonna come from like a negative place. They're gonna like look at everything you do under the microscope. You know, they're just not gonna make you feel good about anything. No matter what is going on, it's like, dang, you know, once you tell this friend, you know that it's just not gonna make you feel good. Like, let's say, for instance, I'm on this weight loss journey, and so I've lost about 23 pounds since quarantine, sometimes 25 on a good day, right? And so the judgmental friend will be like, oh, you lost that weight, that's good, but you're definitely like, you still got a ways to go, you know? Or they might do the flip side of that, where it's like, oh yeah, you've been losing all that weight, but you're like killing yourself to do it, you know, like you're ODing with the fasting, almost like backhanded compliments. You know, like, you lost weight, but you still got a ways to go type of thing, you know, and they're just going to make you feel like, dang, like, everything I do, you have something to say about it. You know, I know for me, being in the church, being a Christian, and this is a whole nother topic, okay? This is a whole other video, but just for a vivid example, you know, I grew up going to Caribbean Carnival. So anybody that has been to a Caribbean Carnival, you know, it's a lot of half nakedness going on, right? But for me, I go because of the cultural aspect of it, and I understand the significance and the history of it. So I know that just comes with the territory. I know that's part of the culture. You go to the Caribbean, even just going to the market, you're gonna see some half naked people. It's hot. Like, that's just that's what people do, you know, for the most part. And for many years, depending on where I was going to church, well, let me not say many years, for a few years, depending on what church I was at, within a certain denomination. I'm not going to say the one, but it was just kind of like, oh, you go to Carnival? Like, and mind you, a lot of the people in this denomination are from Caribbean heritage, so they understand it, but it was just kind of like, wow, you're going to Carnival? Like, you were just worshiping, you were just doing this and that, and now you're going to Carnival? Like, why would you even be there? And they just kind of make you feel bad for doing it, even though you know that it's not going to cause you to stumble. Like, I knew it wasn't going to cause me to stumble, but it was just like, ooh, like, why are you doing that? You know, that's not a good look. Or let's say you want to go out to eat somewhere, and you're like, oh, I really like one soul food restaurant I really like in DC is Oohs and Ahs. So I'll be like, oh, let's go to Oohs and Ahs. And they're like, you eat at Oohs and Ahs? Like, ew, you know, like they looking at you sideways now, like, ooh, your taste, like, you're beneath me. Ain't nobody got time for that type of thing. And it's just like, okay. Or for example, when I got pregnant with my son, the judgmental friend would be like, oh, you know, like, you a hoe, like, make you feel like a hoe or something like that. Like, oh, you should have been more careful. That would never happen to me. Like, I would never become a single mother or this or that. It almost make you feel like crap, like you're the dirt underneath their shoe. They're gonna look, like I said, they're gonna look at everything you do, everything that happens in your life under a microscope. They're gonna make you feel bad about it. It's gonna be scrutiny over your whole life. Doesn't matter if it's good, if it's bad. If it's something good like the weight loss, it's probably gonna come across as a backhanded compliment type of thing. Like I said, like, oh, well, you know, you're not at your goal weight yet. You lost your 23 pounds, but you still got a ways to go type of thing. Or it's gonna just be flat out like, ew, you wanna eat at that restaurant, or ooh, you going to Carnival, or, you know, like those kind of things. So avoid that type of friend. They're gonna make you second guess everything about your life. They're gonna make you second guess your whole existence. You don't need that kind of energy around you, not as a friend, okay? At best, if this person serves a purpose in your life that you just can't let them go, keep them at arm's length. But honestly, for me, I don't need the judgment, because I'm not a judgmental person. Like, you know, no matter what my beliefs are, no matter what my core values are, my personal values, I don't like judge people for what they're doing. Now, if you ask me my opinion or what I think, I will tell you, and I'm not gonna cut cards. Like I said, straight no chaser. That's just how I do it over here. But I'm not gonna scrutinize it. You know, there's a difference. Anyways, let's move on. Let me get a sip of my drink, because who y'all? when you're doing these videos, child. Okay, so friend number 5, types of friends you should avoid. The Debbie Downer or the negative Ned. This is the person that is always negative in their thinking, right? So it's just, honestly, I feel like the judgmental friend and the negative Ned or Debbie Downer can be cousins in a way. It's like, because the judgmental friend, honestly, a lot of times has a level of like negativity in their thinking at the root of it. And the negative friend is just a little bit more overt on it. So they might not necessarily be judging you, but like the judgmental friend, they're going to take that negativity and judge you and throw it off onto you. The negative friend is not necessarily throwing it off onto you, but it's just like their way of thinking. It's where they exist from, you know? So they can never see the glass as half full. It's like, you know, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, let's say that you are going on a trip and you didn't quite get the seat you wanted on the plane. You know, like say you prefer a window seat or something, and you ended up, both of y'all ended up having to sit in seats you don't like. Like maybe y'all both ended up in the aisle seat or something next to each other, but both in the aisle. This negative friend is gonna like be down for the rest of the trip, right? It's just gonna be like, or at least the rest of the flight. Like, I didn't get the seat I wanted, and life sucks. That's not fair. I shouldn't have had to pay all this money to not sit where I want to sit, and da 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 da. And you're just gonna be like, okay, but at least we're on a flight. At least we're going on a vacation, right? Like, a lot of people don't get to go on vacation, especially a nice one like this. No, that's not cool. Like, they're just gonna be down about the fact that they're not in the seat they want to be in on this plane, you know? Or let's say like the negative friend would be the person who, say y'all are roommates, right? And you're both going through a tough time. Like maybe you're struggling, trying to make ends meet, and y'all are on that ramen diet. You know how it was back in college when you didn't have money and you on ramen and that cheap 99-cent bread from the store, and you making bologna sandwiches, and bologna was splurging, or hot dogs, like that was splurging, right? And so y'all just like, look, we gonna eat what we can eat to make sure that we can make these ends meet and pay our bills. And instead of them seeing the glasses half full, like, well, at least we got food to eat, you know, it could be worse. Like we could literally be just on a water diet. They're gonna be like, I'm tired of eating ramen. Like, I want to eat steaks. I want barbecue chicken. I want ribs. You know, like every day they're just gonna relish in the fact that they're not where they would prefer to be, that they're eating ramen. That's a negative person. They're gonna turn everything into the glass is half empty type of viewpoint, even when you're trying to be positive. And I'm telling you, being surrounded by negativity will affect you at some point, because even the most positive person can't walk the lane of positivity by themselves. You need affirmation. You need people around you that are going to help speak that into you and uplift you and affirm you in that way. And so when you are a positive person and you're constantly around a negative Ned or a Debbie Downer, eventually you're going to find yourself being down just like them. You're going to find yourself looking at the world through a negative lens, whether you intend to or not. And that's just going to affect other things. So try to avoid the negative friend, okay? Especially if you are, like I said, a very positive person. And if you are the negative friend, like, honestly, you have to get down to the root of like, why are you so negative? You know, why do you have these beliefs that it's always like, woe is me, life always sucks, this can't get any better type of thing? Like, you got to do some soul searching, because life does suck at times. Trust me. If anybody knows, I know. Especially the last 10, 11 years. But it ain't all bad. Like, there's definitely some goodness in the midst of the storm. You know, there's definitely some blessings in the midst of it all. So just put that into perspective. So friend number 6, types of friends you should avoid. The Shady Friend, okay? The Shady Friend and the Frenemy, again, these are friends that I feel like could be cousins, because the Shady Friend is the one that's going to be like sneak dissing you, or, you know, saying like little slick stuff, and really just like gassing people up when they diss you. So I remember in high school, I had a really good friend, and she, like, in high school, all my best friends were pretty, and they're still pretty, they're still beautiful, right? But they were always the ones that got like all of the male attention for relationships. I got male attention from outside of my high school. I never dated someone I went to school with, but in my high school, I was more so like it was like, she's the pretty chick who's cool. Like, she's the pretty chick that you could talk to, that you could kick it with, have fun with. But people knew I was not about games, especially boys. So they didn't mess with me. They're like, yeah, like, that's a wifey. That's who you marry like 10, 15 years down the road, you know? And so one of the good friends that I had, like I said, best friend at the time, because she was one of the hot girls within our crew, guys would always like come up to her and flirt and stuff like that. But then the immature ones, which was majority of them, that didn't care for me, especially, they would try to flip it and like try to roast me in an attempt to lift her up, you know? And she would like gas them up low key. Like, she would never jump in and like defend me. She would never be like, whoa, you're not gonna talk about my friend like that. Like, nothing at all. And those are the type of friends that you want to avoid, because honestly, this carries over into adult life too. Like, it is very high school, but it carries over into adult life as well. And I know a lot of women that stick around shady friends. It's like, you know, for me, I feel like if we're all going out, we're all hanging out, and some guy comes up to you to holler at you or try to flirt or whatever, and he's putting down your female friends around you, like, why wouldn't you stick up? And I've seen this happen with grown women. You know, like, I don't really hang in packs anymore, because me and all my girls, like, we got children now, we building businesses, working up in our career, like, we got a lot going on, so we don't really go out in groups. And then now, especially since I moved, but even beforehand, like, whenever we would go out in groups, if I was out with one of my friends and she was getting love from dudes that night, and like I was being disrespected in the process, she would step in, you know? If anybody tried me, she would step in, and vice versa. Like, you're not about to sit here and talk about my friend and it's just gonna be all gravy. Like, no, we not even having this conversation. And if you want to say it, I can call her up and we can say it in front of her face, okay? Because regardless, like, I just don't rock like that. I think it's really shady. But this friend in high school would always do that. Like, I remember one time there was this guy, I want to say he was a teacher's assistant or something, but he was always flirting with her, right? And so my mom at the time was renting cars. No, she wasn't renting cars yet. Her car had just gotten into a really bad accident. And so the whole front, like the left side, I think, of the front was bent in. And so it looked a mess. You know, this was right before she started renting cars, before my parents bought a new one. And so one day he was outside, because after a certain time we all had to go outside and wait for our rides. And he saw my mom pull up, the same guy that was always trying to holler at my best friend at the time. And he started roasting me in front of like everybody, right? And so it wasn't a full room, because we were all in the front lobby of the high school at this point. It was probably about 10 of us in there. But he starts roasting me in front of everybody, and he's doing it to impress my best friend at the time. Because he's like, yeah, you know, and like looking at her for approval. So she's cracking up. She's not at once saying like, hey, like, that's messed up, don't do that, like, you know, nothing at all. Where like, if tables were turned, I would have said that, because even in high school I was a straight shooter. I just don't have time for the back and forth and the beating around the bush. But to me, that was like shady. That was almost like a sneak diss. Like, you are perfectly fine making fun of me and my mom in front of this guy who ain't even popping like that. Okay, let's be real. He's not even popping like that. But you're cool doing that and gassing him up. So to me, that's just really shady. You know, watch out for friends like that who, again, like I said, they'll take the opportunity to embarrass you in front of people. They'll gas people up when they're embarrassing you in front of a crowd, or they'll just sneak diss you, or, you know, little stuff behind the scenes. No time for it. No time at all. I need to know where your loyalty lies. I need to know you got my back, period. If not, then just leave me alone. Like, I can't be dishing out loyalty and holding you down and you leaving me out on a limb. Like, it's not gonna work. So, number 7, types of friends you should avoid. Honestly, the disloyal friend. This is the friend that obviously just has no loyalty to you, you know? And the types of friends that I said you should have video, the loyal friend is someone that you know got your back. And this goes hand in hand with the shady friend too, because really, I feel like the shady friend has no loyalty, because if the opportunity presented itself, they would definitely like turn on you, in my opinion, you know? So the disloyal friend is that person. Like, there's no loyalty to you. They are clearly attached to you for a purpose, and that's it. There's no sort of like, let me cherish this friendship. Let me make sure that I'm not hurting her in the process. Let me make sure that she understands that my allegiance is to her first and foremost, you know? So ain't nobody got time, because for me, loyalty is a big deal. If you're not loyal, if I don't know that, like, come hell or high water, you know, between a rock and a hard place, you got my back. I can't do it, you know, because that's the type of friend I am. My friends are like my family, you know. Now, granted, you might be like, oh, this is my friend so-and-so, this is my friend so-and-so. But I'm talking like when I really let you in, you know, beyond online friends, beyond all that. I'm talking like when we really let each other in, I need to know that you got my back. If you don't have that, I can't do it, because best believe I'm going to have your back and then some. I'm going to have your back, your front, both sides, period. If anybody tries to come for you, I'm going to shut it down on site. Or like I said, I'm going to be calling like, okay, well, you're saying this about this person. Let's get them on the phone. Because at the end of the day, it's just better to not have discord and a bunch of confusion and drama. So the disloyal friend, like I said, there ain't no telling. Let the right opportunity present itself. And it don't even have to be anything major or that deep. It can just be an opportunity to turn on you. They gonna take it, sis. All right, I'm just telling you. So go ahead and let that disloyal friend go. You're better than that. So the 8th friend out of the types of friends you should avoid is a bad influence. Okay, the bad influence friend is a person that is going to get you off track. This is a person that's going to get you all the way like derailed off of your path, off of your purpose. This is the person that has no desire to see you grow, see you improve, see you evolve. All right, they know good and well you trying, again, bringing it back to the weight loss, because this is something I'm living. They know good and well you trying to lose weight, but they're gonna keep being like, oh, let's order pizza, let's order large pizzas, you get one, I get one, let's go to Steak and Shake, let's go here, let's go there. And when you say no, oh, you never want to eat out anymore, you so dry, blah blah blah, like you're not what you used to be. Or maybe you're trying to save money, like, because that's a big thing for me now that I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I want to get a hefty savings account, you know. I want to really get my money to the point where I can live for a year, even 2 years, and not work if the situation calls for it, and be straight because I have that much money in my savings, and be good. I mean, like, I don't have to cut back that much or anything, you know. And so maybe they know that's your goal, like you're trying to save money, you're trying to step your financial literacy up, and they're just like, you don't want to hang out anymore, you don't want to go out and do this or that anymore. Like every time we turn around, you just reading, you studying, you're saving your money, like you're boring, come on, it's not that serious. You know, maybe they know you have to study for a test or something, and they know that this is an urgent matter, like this test can affect your whole semester and how your grade comes out, and they're just like, you can study later, let's do this, let's do that instead. Like, this is that friend that's gonna, it's almost like they purposely come to try to get you off track. You know, for my fellow believers out there, they can see that you're trying to step your game up with your spiritual walk. You're trying to, you know, break chains of addiction. Maybe you were addicted to drinking, maybe you were addicted to drugs, maybe you were addicted to pornography or sex or whatever, but they see that you're trying to make that turn, and all of a sudden here they come, almost like a temptation. It almost feels like an attack from the enemy, to be honest. Like, why are you always the one behind me getting off course? You know, why are you always the one that seems to not want to see me win? You know, it's like every time my life gets off track, you're in the background. You're the one that's almost like a catalyst. That's dangerous, because who you have around you can really end up propelling you or derailing you. They can really end up pushing you to greater heights, and they can end up pulling you backwards and keeping you stuck in a holding pattern that just wastes time. You know, you guys, we don't have time to waste. We really don't. And I know I said it a lot, but when you really understand the weight of every day being a gift and like not a promise, your time is too valuable. It is way too valuable to have people over here trying to push you off course, especially because you're trying to improve. You're trying to get better. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to stop being addicted to whatever it is that you're addicted to. You're trying to get out of toxic relationships. You're trying to, you know, improve your career, whether it's through education or some sort of career training or whatever. And they are just not rooting for you. They are honestly like trying to remind you of where you were stuck in, where you were bounded from, and keep you there. Because at the end of the day, they know if you improve and you get to your end goal, they're going to be left behind, you know, because y'all bonded before your growth. Y'all bonded in the old version of you. So now that they see you elevating and whatever that elevation looks like, and they're just going to try to stop it at every turn. So stay away from people like that, because your path to greatness is going to take a new level of dedication, and it's probably going to take some new connections. You know, it honestly probably will. So that's why I'm like, this whole no new friends thing. Now, granted, you don't need a ton of new friends, and I don't use the word friend lightly, but there's levels to this. Y'all already know that. So those are the types of friends that you should avoid. I think that, just like I said, my life experience has taught me these things. Let me know which type of friend you've dealt with, what type of friend you try to avoid in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.